Okay.
Right. Well, let's get into today's topic. I'm sure we'll have some more people pop in, but I think it's probably about time, don't you think, Lisa?
It's about time. Let's go.
Yeah, let's do it.
Um,
Okay. All right. So, welcome to Magnetic Messaging Mastery, where we will craft your client attracting message to get people sliding into your DMs and saying, I want to work with you. Don't we all want that? So I've been a marketer, an online marketer since 2005. And that's back in the day when MySpace was just all the rage and Facebook was only for college students. So to put that in context, that was forever ago, right? And that's when I started online marketing and web design, interestingly, all happened at once. And I got pretty much obsessed with it from the start and continuously was building my skill set and learning from other marketers. And then in 2011, I moved from my hometown, a little small town in Louisiana, to Austin, Texas. And I was like, now is my time. I'm gonna just start my own business. I always wanted to. And I went to a networking event and I had a background as a writer, as a newspaper reporter. And I told people I was a writer and they assumed I was a copywriter. And then they had all these questions about marketing. And that's when I realized, oh my goodness, I have a whole skill set that can help people that I didn't even realize. I thought I was just going to be a writer. So anyway, I started my business in 2011 in that randomly interesting fashion. And I've been full time in my business ever since. I've been in business for 14 years now, and I have a lot to share, but I've really condensed it down to the most impactful takeaways and the simplest way that you can utilize my extensive knowledge. And so that's what we'll be covering today. So what I do is I help coaches and online service providers go from overlooked online to fully booked within 24 weeks or less. And I help them in a variety of ways. We'll talk about that a little bit as well towards the end. So in this training, here is what we will cover. We will decode your audience's secret language so you know what to say to attract them to the DMs or to follow along. We're going to find shortcuts for you to create messaging that sells. So you're not trying to throw everything at the wall to see what sticks, but you actually have a clear messaging focus. We're also going to cover crafting your magnetic message for rapid growth. This is the thing that's going to draw the right high quality leads and buyers straight to you. So you're not wasting time with people who are not a fit. And then we're going to cover how to get dream clients sliding into your DMs so you no longer have to chase people, but that they're actually coming straight to you. Sound good, everyone? You ready? Let's do it. All right. So the first thing that I want you to know is there are only 4 things that you need to focus on if you want to get fully booked in business. Now, these are the 4 things to focus on for like your online presence. We really just want to take it in order. Step 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. You don't want to go out of order. You want to start with your offer. An offer is very specific solution for a niche audience. It has a specific timeline and a specific outcome. So we want to start there. And I'm going to explain why that is. So first we start with our very specific offer for our niche audience. Then we move into magnetic messaging, which is what we are covering today. So I just wanted to give you the order of operations because if you don't have a specific offer for your audience, then the messaging kind of falls flat and you'll see why as we get into it. But this is where we're focusing today is step 2. Now, once you have your offer and your message in place, then it becomes time to create your website. A lot of people will rush to do their website and it really kind of says nothing much at all. So it's just a glorified brochure that doesn't really help you to sell. So that's why the website comes after message. It is completely optional for you to have a website. It's not required for you to get fully booked in business. And then the 4th piece is content to cash, which is my fun way of saying, posting content and generating leads. And so this is another thing that people love to rush to do before they ever even have a really clear focused magnetic offer that's going to sell like crazy and without really having that clear messaging, which is why when you're doing marketing online, when you're posting to social media and you've been doing it a while and nothing's happening, it's most likely because the foundations are missing or there's something about the foundation that needs enhancement. So that's the big picture of how to get fully booked online. Now, let's talk a little bit about the offers piece because this is really important for after our session today. When you go to do more work on your message, I want you to have more clarity because it's the very first step, right? The offer. So general offers don't get people sliding into the DMs. Messaging is only as strong as the offer behind the message. If your offer is too broad, then people won't know it's for them. And it's the specificity that makes people see themselves in your offer and your message and then respond. So messaging becomes way easier when you have that offer dialed in. If you don't have your offer dialed in, you may be looking to competitors who offer similar services or who have similar products. And you may be like borrowing language from them just to figure out like, well, maybe if I say this, it'll work. But what that does is it just makes you sound like everyone else. It's too general and it just doesn't do anything for your business, which is once again why if you're posting that type of content, you're just not going to see real results from it. So an example of too broad marketing is I help people with marketing. That's like a too broad of a statement, right? Like I used to say that when I was doing business. Remember I told people I was a writer. I'm just like, I'm a writer. You know, what do you do? I'm a writer. But what does that even mean? They made their own conclusions about what that meant. And people will do the same if you use such a general message, which means you're going to attract the wrong people, usually. So instead of I help people with marketing, it would be I help people to get fully booked in 24 weeks or less using a 4-step system to systemize their marketing, right? That's like way more specific. That's way more specialty. Another version of broad would be I do bookkeeping for small businesses. So what we're looking at here are commodity services in the sense that it's such a broad concept of what you're selling that you could just basically find it anywhere. For example, like logo design or bookkeeping or being a hairdresser. Like it's all standardized type services. So one is just as good as the other generally. And so people price shop when we're looking at commodities. We'll price shop. Like, oh, well, where can I get the best deal on getting my hair cut? Where can I get the best deal on that logo design? As opposed to when you have a more specific offer, people aren't price shopping. So specific offers are the ones that actually sell and help you to attract clients online. So we want to be niche specific. We want to know who our specific audience is that we're creating that offer and message for. That way we know all about how they think and what their challenges are so that we can speak to those. We can provide solutions for those in our magnetic offer. And then we can design messaging around the solution. So that way it's like, oh, okay, I get it. I know what you do. And it sounds amazing. It sounds just like what I need. So an example of a specific offer would be, I help 6-figure coaches attract high ticket clients with 3 simple reels a week without dancing. So here we're being specific about the audience, 6-figure coaches. We're being specific about what we help them to do, which is attract those high ticket clients. And we're being specific about what it all involves, right? It's like, well, I do this by giving you reels. Oh, and by the way, you don't have to dance. That's handling the objection. We're going to break this down, guys. I'm just giving you the broad strokes, but we're going to get into the application here too. Another example of a specific offer that sells is like, I help salon owners set up a hands-free bookkeeping system in 30 days, as opposed to I do bookkeeping for small business. Okay, so now I want to hear from you guys. I want to see what your current offer is. I want to workshop this with you guys and see, is there anyone who wants to come off of mute and get some feedback on their offer so we can make sure it's like really dialed in and specific? Yeah, go ahead, Sharon. Go ahead and come off mute.
Well, it's interesting because I honestly don't have a current offer because my job just ended at a nonprofit. So I'm looking back to my coaching business and then developing and really refining that. It never really got off the ground. It's why I went back to work full time. But now this window of opportunity has come up and I want to jump in and I really would love to dial in and pull it. So I don't have an offer, happy to work one, but if somebody else has an offer, you know, I get the whole workshopping it. I just don't have a base to start off of other than my
Gotcha.
ideas, explain further what my authentic coaching, what I mean by that, which I think I'm going to have to change that
Yeah.
verbiage because people don't totally get that.
Yeah, absolutely. So the authentic coaching, who specifically is the coaching for?
Well, it's for individuals that are going through those transitions that have, so to speak, checked all the right boxes, but yet you still aren't happy and you're still not finding, you're not doing what brings you joy and things like that. So it's that the people who are ready to shift. And like I have a lot of friends or a lot of moms that were stay-at-home moms and we're trying to go back into work. And it's like, what do I want to do? And what's truly me?
So I heard something interesting in there, Sharon. Initially, you were saying that your coaching is for anyone who wants to, be more fulfilled and authentic.
Yeah.
But then you said you have a lot of friends who are moms who want to enter the workforce. So that's specificity. You went from very
Okay.
broad to getting
Uh-huh.
more specific about an audience. Now, when it comes to your audience, you guys want to be sure that you're catering to an audience that has money to spend, or else it's going to be really hard to get clients. So you want to think about your niche. You want to use a list of checkpoints to determine, is this a good niche for me? Is it an audience that I know? And is it an audience that has money to pay? And do they have a painful enough situation or problem that they need solved, that I can
Okay.
solve? And so I don't know if moms is that for you, Sharon?
Okay. And well, and also, I mean, I guess it was my earlier years too, but now it is a lot of people who are, hitting their 50s or have finished their first career. And what
Okay.
does that second career want to look like? It's like,
Okay. That could be a better audience, actually, Sharon, because
Mhm.
they have money. Like these people who have
Right,
been in the workforce up until their 50s, they already have a nest egg, most likely, most of them, right?
right.
So anyone who's looking to do a second career, they're going to have some financial leverage. Yeah, so
Okay.
play with that.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's move on to decoding your audience's secret language. This is where we're going to unlock more of the language for your what you just posted in the chat. Okay. So there are two types of market research which will help you tap into your audience's hidden language. I know it sounds boring, but this is the stuff that will make all of the difference with people sliding into your DMs. So first, we have audience research, which is what we do to attract the right people to us. And then we have competitor research, which is what we do to differentiate from everyone else who is in our field. When it comes to audience research, we're really tapping into the reptilian brain. That's why I have a cute little lizard and a brain here. It's the reptilian brain that I'm referring to. And most people will do market research to find the basic demographics of their audience, like the age or the industry or the income level. You probably have all heard about that, right? But that's actually not what you need to know to drive action. Okay. We need to tap into the reptilian brain, which is the part of your clients' minds that are wired for survival. It's all about, those base human needs. These are buying triggers. It's the thing that gets us to take action. So when we are talking to people with our message, we want to tap in to those buying triggers. And I'll show you what those are in just a moment. But just know that we're catering to people's psychology when we're doing the audience research. We need to understand how they think. So audience research focuses on their needs, desires, and pain points. It also helps to uncover what your audience wants in your solution, going back to the offer, right? This is how you can figure out what the best offer is for your audience that's going to sell like crazy. And we also want to be gathering this audience research through interviews, surveys, and conversations, which we'll cover in just a minute. Now, when it comes to competitor research, we really want to be doing this when we're at the stage of taking what we learned about our audience and crafting an offer. Okay, so when we're in the packaging offer scenario, we want to look to what does my audience need and what's already available and what can I do that is positioned differently. So you want to analyze how the businesses are currently positioned. What do they say about how they help people? What's their value proposition? Are they helping people to build a website in a week, for example? Are they coaching people in a group scenario, or are they doing one-on-one? You know, like what is it specifically that they're offering? That's the positioning. And what are they promising? That's part of the positioning. And then as you're looking at these competitors, is pinpoint the gaps and opportunities to differentiate. And you can do that by studying their websites, their marketing, and their customer feedback. So I go really deep into this in my magnetic message chapter of a program that I have. So we don't have time to go deep into all of these things, but you're still going to come away with a ton of great stuff today. Now I want to show you the buying triggers. This is like a 1-minute messaging hack, okay? So what you will do is you will look at the reasons why people buy, and you will choose one or more of these outcomes when communicating your services, like how you help people. So you can focus on one or more of these in tandem with this. So let me give you an example. So people will buy your offer if it helps them to make money. What if it also helped them to speed the process of making money? You see, we want to pair everything on this side with an item or two on this side when we're talking about what we do. So like for me, I help people to make more money. I make it simple and I make it speedy. Well, it's also convenient because it's simple and speedy. So do you see? Like that makes it extra desirable when we're focusing on this. Does anyone want to do this? I want to see in the chat, what one or two buying triggers does your solution or that solution you have that you're thinking of doing, what do you think are the buying triggers? So like I know that there's people in here who they're helping people increase happiness. All right. So Lisa, make money plus speed and simplicity. Oh, such a great buying trigger. Increase happiness and simplicity. Ooh, that's perfect, Jennifer. Increase happiness. Okay, Londa, cool. What about one of these things? Add one of these things, like the little bullet points, to increase happiness, and you're gonna, add more oomph to your message. So for you, I'm thinking perhaps it's simplicity because you're making it easy for them to get what they need to increase their happiness. I'm just taking a stab at it, but you tell me what you think. Drop it in the chat. Okay. Increase happiness and simplicity, Sharon says. Yeah. And interestingly, as you do your market research, you are going to find that you're learning more about the buying triggers. You might think right now that increasing happiness is the main reason why they want your offer, but there may be something else here that is underlying their desire. You will also learn more about this aspect, whether or not, like, you'll learn what's most important to them. Is it more important to them to have speed? Is it more important to them to have convenience or simplicity? That'll all come out in the wash when you talk to people. Okay. So this is all going somewhere, guys. We're building to the messaging piece. Now we're going to move on to shortcuts to messaging that sells. And there are 4 ways to gather audience research. So the very first one, I'm sure you guys will like, is AI Insights. You can use ChatGPT or some other AI tool to learn all about your audience. And you can also talk to past or current clients. You can tap into your network to talk to people who look like an ideal client. And you can ask friends to refer friends who are ideal buyer types. We only want to be talking to people who really fit the description of the person that you want to create your offer for. Like, for example, I see people doing this all the time in Facebook groups. in like business Facebook groups, people will say, "This is my offer. What do you think?" But they're asking just a whole room full of strangers, and we don't know if these people are ideal clients or not. So it doesn't really matter what the room thinks. What matters is what your ideal client thinks. So just hearing from a bunch of people is not going to help. We want to get really specific about who we're talking to. Now, here is how you can fast track your audience research. So I recommend that you start with AI-based research because, I mean, you can do it today, like after our call. It's so fast and easy. AI is going to give you quick wins as far as understanding your audience, and it's going to give you a jump start to be able to craft offers specifically for them and therefore your message. But when you speak to people, then you get really deep understandings. Okay. We're going to get sort of a like broad strokes understanding with AI. We're going to get really specific, juicy, good details from the people we speak to. So there is a QR code here on the screen for you of this workbook, which will help you to book calls really fast with actual humans who are your ideal client. And that way you can get those insights that you're looking for. Here is what to ask AI and what to ask the people that you speak to on your calls. Now, I want you to take a photo of this slide because you're going to be referring to it when you have conversations with people plus AI. So let me tell you a little bit about this. You see how I have this little onion on the screen? I always tell my clients, keep peeling the onion because my clients will come to me and they'll say, well, this is the biggest challenge that my audience is facing, but it's way too surface level. And what happens when you're having conversations with people is you will ask these questions and they will give you a very basic answer, but it's not the real answer. And it's not that they're trying to trick you. They just are going off the cuff. They haven't tapped in. They haven't peeled the onion for themselves. So what we want to do is we want to continue asking questions to peel the onion and get to the heart of the matter. This is where we find the buying triggers for our audience and the specific challenges and needs of our audience, not just the basic stuff. We go deep. And this is why I always recommend people have calls one-on-one with individuals, as opposed to posting in Facebook groups or putting up a poll or having a survey or something like that. Those are fine. Those are fine to do, but it's not going to give you the deep, juicy, meaty details that is going to turn your message from meh to magnetic. So always ask, tell me more. Oh, tell me more about that. If they say, oh, well, I'm just really unhappy in my relationship. Oh, tell me more. Is it like what's causing that? Oh, it's finances. Okay, well, and keep peeling, right? So you might want to have a list of questions handy to peel the onion. You could even ask AI, like, give me a list of questions that I can ask people when they respond to market research to go deeper into the topic so I can learn more and more and more. So basic questions here. What's your biggest challenge with whatever topic you support them with? How is this impacting your life, your business, your career, whatever the category is? For some of you, you're going to be serving other business owners. So ask about their business. Others are going to be supporting people with their career. Ask about their career. Others will be supporting their life, right? What solutions have you tried to turn this around? This is a good one because it helps you to know what to say in your content. And it also helps you to know what to say to handle objections when you're doing sales. So for example, I've heard from my audience that they have, tried Reels, they have just programs and courses on content creation, on email marketing. They've learned how to build funnels, but they're still not getting clients. What gives, And so these are things that I can talk about in my content. Like, hey, I know that you are, trying to do this thing and you've tried this and that and this and that, and it's still not working. Here's why. Here's why that's not working. Because you as the expert, you're going to know, right? And the solution that you create will solve that for them. Point number 4, what results have you gotten so far? That's also good to know. Over time, you're going to be really clear, like, oh, it's so consistent. I always see people saying they are challenged with this, and this leads to that. Or I always see people saying that when they do this, they get these results. It really clarifies a lot in terms of how you sell and what you say in your content. Number 5, what would make investing in this solution a no-brainer? This is a good one for like creating an offer that has that no-brainer element to it. And then what's the top outcome you would like in the next 90 days? Remember how I said like the specificity of a message is what really draws people to you? So what do they want in 90 days? Tell them what you can help them to do in 90 days. That's related to their desires. Be honest, but it's really good to know what the thing is that they're most wanting. Okay, here is your AI audience insights prompt. So it says act as, and then you're just going to tell it your industry expert status. So like act as a life coach, act as a financial advisor. My ideal client is, and then explain who it is in very extensive detail, as much as you can. So for me, I have an ideal client named Samantha, and she is like a 46-year-old woman. She lives in an urban area. She has been in business for 5 to 7 years. She has accomplished XYZ in business. Her current goals are XYZ. Her current challenge is this and that. So that's how deep I go into describing my audience to the AI. However, I know that because I've done a lot of market research. If you don't have the like super granular details yet, just go as deep as you can in who you think she is or he is or they are. And then it says, what are their biggest struggles when it comes to topic? And then the topic, you want to tell it what you do. What is your specialty? We don't want to go super broad on the topic. Like, so for example, what I help people to do is develop marketing systems and lead generation systems that bring them consistent clients. So I would want to ask, what are the biggest struggles when it comes to streamlining their messaging and pulling in leads consistently, something like that. Now, if you are still in a stage where you're like, I don't really know what I want my specialty to be, like I can do this and that. I'm kind of a generalist right now. I don't really know. Just tell it what you do. Tell it what your skill set is. And so I would love for you guys to put this into AI, like right now. Let's workshop it. Let's just take 3 to 5 minutes, and I want you guys to go to like ChatGPT. I'll put that in the chat box. There you go. I will also put the AI prompt in the chat box so you can grab it. I want to know what it says and see if you guys are getting useful insights immediately. Jennifer, yeah, come off mute.
Yeah, I was just typing it in, but yeah, so I told it my ideal client, which is, a high achieving woman between 40 and 60 that does really well in work, but sometimes the rest of her life is really out of whack and out of balance. And so it says, which I already knew this because this is actually what I do, but it says basically people pleasing, guilt for saying no, fear of conflict, sense of identity, burnout and resentment, tying her worth to approval, difficulty setting boundaries, overthinking and second guessing, and lack of support.
So I think that sounds really good. And so that's a lot of pain points. And there's certain aspects of those that can be extra sensitive for people that makes them want to work with you. So I would use each of those points in a piece of content. We're going to cover content today that gets people sliding into your DMs. We're going to leverage what you're doing with AI right now, and we're going to apply it to another step in a couple of slides. But what I want you to do after the session, when you have time, is I want you to go back and look at this slide, and I want you to continue the conversation with ChatGPT and ask it all of these questions based on the ideal client you told it about. And then you're going to take that information and you're going to put it in a document that you know where to find it so you can always reference it for your messaging and your content creation. I like to put my answers in a spreadsheet where it's like, there's the question, there's the question, and then there's the answer. Also, when you speak to people, these are the exact questions you will be asking them. And I want to always have a spreadsheet for that as well. So I have one spreadsheet with a tab that's like AI responses and a tab that is actual audience responses. All right. Oh, and on that same spreadsheet, you can have a third tab for competitor research where you look at their website, their social media presence, how good are they doing at that, their value proposition, all the things. So it's like one dashboard that will help you with your positioning and your messaging. So you're running AI, you're running these questions through, you're going to use the workbook that I gave you to book a bunch of calls with people really fast, and you're going to ask these questions. And then you're going to input everything into a spreadsheet. Now we're in section 3, crafting your magnetic message for rapid growth. That's what we're all here for. Okay, so I gave you a little messaging formula just for quick funsies, and it's the client attracting one-liner where you fill in the blanks. I help specific audience achieve tangible result. Okay, we want to go very specific in a specific time frame, which is why we want to know what do they want in 90 days or 60 days or whatever. Using, and this is where you're going to name your method. Okay, this is basically your offer. Your proprietary method is the offer you develop for your niche audience. Without, and then whatever struggles or common objections they have, right? Like, what's the top objection? Pull it in there. So an example of going from basic messaging to a spicy one-liner is, I help coaches get more clients, very basic, to I help coaches sign 3 to 5 clients in 30 days using my curiosity to cash system without cold DMs or paid ads. So another version would be the basic, I help busy moms lose weight. The spicy is, I help busy moms drop 10 pounds in 6 weeks with my lean and free method without giving up their favorite foods or doing endless cardio. And then one more, I help business owners with bookkeeping, goes to, I help 6-figure consultants set up a hands-free booking system in 14 days with my profit clarity framework so they can focus on making money, not tracking it. So yeah, play with that. You can run this through AI. You can tell it, hey, this is my specific audience. These are the results that I get them. This is the time frame I get it in, and this is my method, and this is what I know they struggle with. Give me 5 different versions of this to fill in the blank with everything, with all the components I just gave you. This is your magnetic message roadmap. So first, what we're doing is we're gathering our audience insights. Then we are having one-on-one ideal customer conversations, and this is ongoing, you guys. Just doing it once is good, but markets will change over time. People change over time. We're constantly evolving as a society, as people, and so we always want to know what's actually happening with our people. Continue doing those conversations. Ultimately, what I find is when you are fully booked, your market research becomes the interactions that you have with your clients and the sales calls that you have with prospective clients. So if you have a way to record all of these things, you always have market research. Select relevant buying triggers and fill in the client attracting one-liner. So that's your path to building your magnetic message. It's basically a recap of what we just did. We gathered audience insights. We're going to have customer conversations. We will select buying triggers, and then we're going to fill in the client one-liner. Pretty simple, right? Okay. Now we're going to get those dream clients sliding into your DMs. So this is a value post. And these are the kind of posts that you see all the time on Facebook or even Instagram or LinkedIn, where it's like, I'm an expert, let me tell you why, basically. But a lot of people, when they do their value posts, they make a few common mistakes. So we're going to break down the value post into chunks so that you know how to make it as strong as possible and get people in the DMs. So what is a value post before we even go there? Well, it provides valuable insights to your audience, something that they can chew on, something that will give them an aha moment or, get them on the path to some kind of a solution. It establishes you as an authority in your space, and it captures lead generation opportunities. So this is a version of a value post that I did that got really good results. And it says, the number one mistake keeping your sales pipeline empty. Think you need fancy graphics, a website, or a complicated funnel to book clients? Think again. The truth is, relying only on passive methods like posting content or email marketing will never fill your sales pipeline. Here's why. Most business owners think showing up online is enough to get clients, but without a system to guide potential clients to the next step, they'll never make it onto your sales call. The good news, it's easy to fix. Drop checklist in the comments and I'll send you my 5-step marketing checklist to help you bring in quality leads every week. So I kind of took them on a journey, right? We'll kind of break this down now. So first off, well, I have a hook. The number one mistake keeping your sales pipeline empty. It's like, oh, well, what is this? Is speaking to a common challenge of my audience. So that's what you want to do with your hook, is speak to a common challenge, something that's super relatable, and you want your hook to be really short and punchy. And then you're going to address what you shared in that first line. So I'm talking about the number one mistake that they have, and then I'm going to tell them what the mistake is here. It's like, well, you think that this is the deal, but actually that's a common mistake. And here's why that's a common mistake. And then I give them reasons. So this is giving people a mindset shift. And then I tell them that I have something to help them. And so this is how I'm going to generate leads. So anyone who drops checklist is a lead. Now, I could have also asked them to just drop that message to me as opposed to in the comments. So this is how you get people into your DMs. It's like, DM me the word checklist and I'll send you this thing. All right, so here's another example of a hook. You don't need a fancy website to get clients. Some of the most successful entrepreneurs use Google Docs to sell their services, even when earning six figures. This is actually true, by the way, which is why I say websites are optional. But a lot of people do not believe that this is true. A lot of people really believe that they need a website, which is why they rush to build a website before they even have a good offer. And so this post got a lot of leads because of this hook. It got people to stop. The reason why the hook is so important is because people will not read your content unless you can capture their attention, right? And that's what the hook does. So I want you to be selective about the hooks that you use so you can get people, so you can generate leads. So what I like to do is I like to create the post and then feed it into ChatGPT and then be like, give me 10 hooks for this post. And then I'll scroll through them. And then a lot of times I even ask for another 10 more because I want to be that thorough about the opening line because it's practically the only thing that matters. If you're not getting people to read, it's pointless. Your post is pointless, right? So the hook is like your billboard or your movie poster or the trailer to a movie. No one's going to go watch the movie if they don't know what it's about and if they're too busy to even care to check it out. Okay. And then let's talk about the call to action because this is another piece that people sort of flounder on. I always see people, they like doing what they think is a call to action, but it's not. So I want to clarify. A call to action asks people to take a specific action. It specifies what they will get in return, and it encourages comments or direct messages. So a bad example is, let's do this. I see people posting that as a call to action, but what does that mean? What does let's do this mean? It doesn't really tell me what to do. So then I'm not going to do anything, right? As opposed to comment rewire for my free training to rewire your money mindset. So it's like, comment this thing, the specific thing, and I will send you this specific thing. See, there's like specificity on either side. Comment the specific word to get this specific thing. And the thing that you're offering is going to be super tightly related to the content that you've presented. So for me, it's looking to get clients consistently. I've got a free training with steps to attract leads without relying on a website. Do you want it? Drop clients and I'll send you the link. That's another version. I actually like doing it this way most, even though this got a lot of leads because of the hook. I think this is the tried and true version here with the check mark. This is like plug and play this, in your content. Comment this word to get this thing done. Perfect format for a CTA. Has anyone tried this before where you ask people to comment a certain word? This can actually work for you too, Elaine, because I know you're selling products and a lot of people here are selling services. But if you get people to talk to you, if you get people saying, yeah, I want your buying guide for like a multi-unit affordable housing, like how to trick out a multi-unit affordable housing complex with like luxury look and feel. I'm going to give you my top 5 tips to do that on a budget, and then you get people talking to you. These are people who could be your clients.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So as you can see, a big component of getting people to talk to you is to have a lead magnet or to have some sort of free thing that gets them wanting to say, hey, I'm here, I want that thing. So here I'm offering a training about getting leads without a website. And in this one, let's see, have a checklist to bring in quality leads every week. So I've got a checklist, I've got a video, I've had audio plus like a workbook lead magnets. So you can kind of play around with what your lead magnet is. It just needs to be very closely aligned to what you sell. That's another common mistake that people make, is having a lead magnet that has absolutely nothing to do with the outcome that they specifically are offering as a solution. Liz, you didn't get a response. So you used the CTA and you didn't get a response is what I'm gathering. No worries. So you guys, I want you to think of yourself as farmers for a minute, like you're out in a field and you've got a bunch of seeds in your hand and you're just going to scatter your seeds and you're going to start watering them, and some of those seeds will grow and some of them won't. It's just like that with your content and your calls to action. Not every content piece is going to produce, and that's okay. We just know. Liz thinks her hook wasn't good enough. No, and hey, and that's what we're doing, is like, it's always about optimizing what we're doing. So once we know what to focus on, which you guys know now is to focus on the hook, make sure you have a good CTA, and make sure you're giving a little value in between. It's like a sandwich, right? The hook, the value, and free offer. You'll get better over time, and you can pull ChatGPT in and get better at choosing what you pull from ChatGPT into your content. Okay. So I gave you a value post prompt. I would take a picture of this as well. So this is sort of like a content framework. I have repeatable content frameworks that I give to my clients, and there are 7 different frameworks that you can literally copy and paste into an AI tool like ChatGPT or whatever you want. And you can actually create a month's worth of content in 20 minutes. It's pretty great. And I know that ChatGPT sounds like not like you, but there's also a training on how to prime your AI to sound like you. And when you pair it with your magnetic offer, it really makes it so simple for you to create content that attracts high quality leads and gets the right people, asking for your lead magnets and all the good things like getting on calls and all that. So the hook is where you introduce a common mistake. So this is a common mistakes prompt, such as posting more content isn't the solution, it's part of the problem. The mistake is where you're describing what they're doing wrong. So the example is, you're sharing generic tips, but they don't speak to your audience's real pain points. Here's why this mistake happens. Content feels like the easiest way to stay visible, but without a clear message, your audience scrolls past. Here's the better way, so you're offering them a stronger approach. Instead of just posting to stay active, create content that speaks hyper specifically to your audience's struggles. Call to action. Want content that gets DMs? Comment content, and I'll show you how to create posts that convert. So obviously we're going to get rid of the hook, the mistake, why it happens. We're just going to take all of the language and put it together into a piece of content. Okay. Now, I want to tell you a little bit about what stops people from actually getting clients from their online marketing. We covered a lot of, the very first thing that we did was we zoomed out, and then we got really specific and granular. And I find that people get really confused sometimes about well, how does this fit into actually making money? So there's something that I always talk about called the marketing. You're learning a lot of things all the time about how to market your business. I'm sure you're watching YouTube videos, you're listening to podcasts, you're reading blogs, you're trying new tactics, you're buying low ticket offers, maybe. Perhaps you've even worked with a coach. But if you still have questions about how to actually get clients online, if you're putting in the work and it's not working for you, you're probably in the marketing maze, which is this hypothetical place where you're like in an actual hedge maze where the hedges are above your head, and you know that your goal of business growth is out there somewhere. It's like getting out of the maze, but you can't see the direction to go in. But you've heard that if you run in this one direction, you're going to get there. You're going to get business growth. So you run in that direction and then you hit a wall. And you're like, oh, darn, I was sure that was going to work. So then you're like, well, I've also heard if I do this, I'll get to the goal. So you run in that direction and you hit the wall. And that's what keeps happening for a lot of people. I know because I was in the maze for a really long time. Even as technically skilled marketer, I was still stuck in the maze. I could not figure out why, even though I was really good at the messaging and all these other components, and I had a really cool email funnel and I had a beautiful website and I was doing blog content and it just looked so fancy, it still wasn't working because I was in the maze. So an example of being in the maze is where you're just like chasing the tactics that you've heard and you're hitting walls. You're not getting clients from your marketing, whatever you're doing, it's just not working. Maybe you're unsure of the big picture strategy to actually get clients online, or maybe you're still searching for a reliable way. It's just like, what is it gonna be? What's the thing? So you keep messing with your website or your message or whatever, your funnel. Okay. Does anyone relate to that? Is anyone with me? Yeah, I was in the maze. I mean, ugh, it's no fun. It's like, am I ever going to figure this out? Well, the good news is that I have the bird's eye view of the maze. It took me a ridiculously long amount of time, even as a technically skilled marketer, to like get this view of the maze. But this is my view now. I can spot where you are in the maze based on having a quick conversation with you. I can be like, okay, I know what your challenge is. You're here. It's like one of those mall maps. So it's like, you're here. So here's the most efficient way out of the maze so that you can get to your goal of getting fully booked or, business growth, right? So this gives you the steps that you know what to work. So you can just focus on doing that and you can drop everything else you're doing. You can stop throwing everything at the wall to see what sticks. And you can actually just do the steps in the right order and get the results. That's what I do for my clients. I give them that path. So I wanted to share this quick little story of a client that I worked with who was definitely in the maze. She was a virtual assistant at the time, but she was transitioning to be an online business manager. Super smart, whip smart gal. And she was like, well, I'm trying to scale my business, but I don't know how, like without selling maybe like a $7 membership. And I was like, girl, $7 a pop, that's not a great way to scale. Let's talk. So I helped her to pinpoint where she was in the maze. And then she worked with me, and this is what happened.
Can you tell me a little bit about your experience in terms of like working with me?
Can you hear it? Can you guys hear that? I don't even know. Yeah? Okay.
Yeah. So you had me doing your magnetic offers course myself. Well, you were at the same time doing market research on my new ideal client that I myself hadn't really understood. You gave me two different ideal client personas. And then I turned around and took your magnetic offers course and started helping me develop new offers that were tiered so that when I presented these offers with the messaging that we started coming up with, all of a sudden it started landing with the right people and repelling the people that were looking for something that wasn't at the level that I wanted to offer anymore. So by going through this process and quadrupling my revenue in about 90 days, quadrupling my revenue, and hitting my first 10K month, I realized I had become my own ideal client. I had used the client personas that you gave me to really dial in the messaging. And I'll just say this to anybody considering working with Monica. There's always a fear when you're going to invest in your business. You're wondering if there's going to be ROI, right? So I can say with certainty that 6 months ago, well, I don't know, maybe it was 8 months ago, that Monica and I worked together has paid off in dividends now. And so if I hadn't made that investment back then, would I be where I am right now? Probably not.
All right. So that was a cool outcome. And that's exactly exactly what's possible when you follow the steps in order that we talked about. So remember, we covered that rainbow, right? The 4 things you need to get fully booked in business. That's what we did with Allison. And so you can see just how impactful it is to actually work on your offers, your message, your lead generation. So now I have a special invitation for you to come and work with me. And I have like the best deal for you guys today. It's my fully booked academy. And it is for you if you're just tired of being in the maze, basically, and you're ready for a clear, proven step-by-step path to get out, to get that quick, most efficient way out of the maze. And so you're getting everything that you need to build a marketing system that brings in high quality clients consistently without spending all day online or feeling lost about what to do next. And so what it comes with is the profitable niche. We're going to help you to design what that is, design your heck yes offers, and then create messaging around it that really brings in the right people. We're going to talk about scalable marketing methods so you don't have to be online all the time. Like I said, we can create a month's worth of content using frameworks that I provide for you. In just 20 minutes, you can have a month's worth of content. You're also going to get the content to clients system. And this is where your posts actually lead to DMs and sales, and you'll have a picture of what to do once people are in your DMs. Like, what do you even do? Where do you go? That's going to be clarified for you. There's also community access. You can collaborate, connect, and grow with each other because you're all on the same journey of getting fully booked. So it's going to be great to have partners and collaborators. You could even meet your next client in the group. And then we have monthly Q&As for direct support from me. If you can't attend the live Q&As, that's okay because I actually am also recording Q&As for those of you who can't make it live. And so last year, the Fully Booked Academy was a program that I sold for up to $4,000 because it included the marketing foundations and the advanced lead generation piece. But now I'm offering the core marketing system to help you clarify your niche, create your offers, create your magnetic message, and start attracting those ideal fit ready buyers who are starting to talk to you. So you can actually have conversations that lead to sales. And so right now, this is like the biggest deal of the year ever, I think, maybe. I'm offering it for just $45 a month right now. And so obviously it's at a fraction of the cost of what my high ticket clients paid. Now they were getting like 6 coaching calls with me. So, that's why the cost is quite a bit different. But also, I wanted to give you guys, you early stage entrepreneurs, something that you can work on to start building a pipeline of consistent sales so that I can further help you down the road when you are ready to delegate that to someone to do for you. A lot of people are hiring a marketer or like a virtual assistant or a freelancer to do marketing, and they're getting no return on investment because they don't understand what is required to actually get clients online. So with the Fully Booked Academy, you are going to understand the step-by-step and the big picture of how it all works. And you're going to have frameworks that make it easy to actually implement and do it right so that there is a QR code here where you can go to a page to learn more and get signed up if you would like to join me. By the way, this is on sale. I'm not always going to offer Fully Booked Academy at this rate. I'm not sure when I'm going to take the sale off, to be honest. It's kind of based on what I feel like. So get in while it's hot if you can, and I would love to see you there. But for now, let's do Q&A.